And they're off. MagicK looks like his stream's a little bit ahead of DLB's. I'll get that synced up for you here shortly. MagicK doing a little bit of an alternate strat there, going for that high bounce into the extendo. Jumping in between crumblings at the end there. Bridging the gap, and still out in 32. Not bad. That makes it out in 30.
Yeah, it looks a little faster, even though the stream's a few seconds behind.
Something that's been pretty typical of tournament races and just community races in general lately is dying very early on. Don't want to curse anything, but they're already out of 1-1, which is usually the real killer. Specifically, when one individual enters any races, it seems that somebody has to die in 1-1 every time that he's in a race. Don't want to name any names, not trying to blame anybody, but that's just something that's been going on lately. Looks like the races are almost perfectly matched up. Dad might be 1 second ahead according to timers. Getting through those crumblings there. Nice roll. Really bassy sound right now. It's kind of interesting. Alright, getting all the snakes. Dad taking the end of Reptile a little bit safe. And they're out. Going into Coral Capers now. One of the most infamous stages in speedrunning this game. It's really, really easy to lose time in all water levels. This one especially. You want to cut your corners as tight as you possibly can. You want to mash B as fast as you can when you're trying to swim upwards, because there is no cap on swim speed. Then there's a few different tricks with on guard. You can see Dad just got it there, and MagicK got most of it. What we call fast start. You want to press B to swim up as you are mounting on guard, and you start with your swim up speed, as opposed to just coming from like no speed whatsoever. You have a little bit of velocity starting right away. There's like less acceleration you need to do. Pretty textbook Coral Capers for both of them. Looks like Dad has about 5 seconds on MagicK right now.
Yep, and even with the streams not synced, Dad has kind of made up that time difference.
Yeah, Dad's a pretty good player. I don't actually know MagicK's PB. I don't know if it's on our wiki either. Look that up real quick if I can. So this level, Barrel Cannon Canyon, is, for the most part, just like a freebie. You ride through these auto cannon barrels across the top of most of the level. In our no major skips category, though, that's banned, and you end up having to take the long way, which is considerably longer. Going into first boss fight, Naughty. Just jump on him a whole bunch of times. You want to jump on him at the peak of his arc of his jump. That is when he's first vulnerable. If you jump on him while he's still traveling upwards, you'll just get knocked backwards and he won't take damage from it, so you have to jump on him again. Dad coming out with what looked like a 347, which is a pretty good World 1 time.
Yep, that's the number I saw. As that nanner fell down.
Alright, Winky's Walkway. Very fun stage to play. There's lots of really satisfying rolls and some extendos to do. For the most part, you don't let go of right. There's a couple of little wiggles right there, like that one that he just did to the bird, otherwise you'll fall. But it's really satisfying stage to play. There's an extendo at the very beginning that is one of the best, in my opinion. Dad opting to skip the barrel. MagicK takes barrel, loses about 1/4 of a second, but it's considerably safer because if you end up messing up your jump and get into that auto barrel, it shoots you into the minecart and you lose about 15 seconds or so.
Don't want to actually play the level.
Yeah, no, it's much slower to play that level out.
It's a long one.
Bouncy Bonanza. This one is probably the most difficult of the early stages, I'd say. There's a trick right here. B-skip. Dad does not go for the first one. You have to jump through the crawl spaces. He thought about going for the second one. He opted out of it. Probably safe. Looks like MagicK does not go for them. B-skip, as the name implies, you skip the Bs. You just skip one of the cycles of the Bs going back and forth. MagicK taking this level pretty safely. Dad having a textbook run through, making his way to stop and go now. This is a level that I found really challenging as a kid, but there are two big gimmicks here. One, if you just go back left through the entrance as you come in, it warps you to very nearly the end of the stage. And the second is the rock crocs will not hurt you if you're rolling. So you can just roll straight through them. Even if they're awake, you use the green and red stop and go barrels to stop them. But they still, I guess, like, you're immune to their collision or whatever while you're rolling for some reason. So makes that stage considerably easier. First big trick right here, super jump. Dad gets it. MagicK charges it. You see Donkey jump off the top of the screen. And then when he gets Donkey back, so long as he's holding B and lands on an enemy right here, he just gets propelled infinitely upwards as long as he's holding the B button into a Donkey-only warp barrel. Takes him to the end of the stage. Alright, now we're into Neki 1. Bird Boss, first instance of RNG in this game, first of two, the second instance being the second Bird Boss. The early RNG is whether he appears in the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. Bottom spawns are the fastest, that's what you want, just because they're easier to hit that way. Top, you just have a little bit more of a chance of getting hit by the nut. You don't want to lose your Donkey because you want him first for this stage, Vulture Culture. For this Donkey exclusive warp barrel right there that Dad just took, you actually, I think it's the only barrel in the entire game that is on a time limit, actually. You have to get there fast enough. Otherwise, the barrel just won't be there, and it's Donkey only as well.
And you don't really need to be that fast either.
Yeah, no, it's just something that you wouldn't know if you were playing the game casually, right? So, MagicK taking a little hit there. Unfortunate. We'll see how he deals with Treetop Town. It's a little bit difficult to get into the warp barrel in this stage. Oh, and he makes it. Good for him.
No
he must practice it. Good on MagicK. That's a tricky barrel to get into with Donkey only.
Donkey considerably slower and shorter jump.
Definitely. Dad setting up another super jump here. Gonna super jump over this entire stage. And he gets it. One of the things is you have to be walking off the ledge and land on the Kremling in order to bypass these ropes. Because if you are in a falling state, you clip through ropes. However, if he were to like jump on an enemy and then go over the ropes, no matter how high you are, you can be infinitely above them. They extend, I think, pretty much all the way up forever.
And what do you have to do at the end of this here?
I'm sorry?
What do you have to do to get out of it at the end of it there?
Oh, you just release B. You hold B until a certain point. There's a Kremling jumping up and down. When he screens out on the left-hand side, you just release B. So you're falling actually for like, I'd say 75%, maybe 60% or so of that stage, because you go up considerably faster than you go down. Both of them getting out without a hitch though. Now into Temple Tempest. This stage has some pretty good extendos. One right there that Dad just got. That one
always makes me hold my breath.
That one is tough, not gonna lie. It took me a good week to learn it, I'd say, just practicing on and off. MagicK opting for the bird. Loses, I believe, 6 seconds over optimally playing out the stage, but it is considerably easier, so very, very recommended for newer players. We lost the bird. That's very unfortunate. Tricky thing about animal companions is if you take damage when you're on one, no matter which direction you're going, you get like thrown at maximum velocity in whichever direction you're facing, so there's really not a good way to recover from that. Obviously taking damage is not ideal, but it just makes it even more difficult, even more punishing. So hopefully he has a good second attempt here. Dad going for map warp, wants to press any of the face buttons right there on that corner. Second try, nice. We'll warp him into the end of Ogang. So it's called any % all stages because we just need to finish the stage. So really, I guess a more accurate name is all exits. Doesn't really matter how you get there. In that instance, he wrong warped to that level from the world map. He didn't actually enter the level directly. So the only real requirement is to beat all the levels, and I think all the bosses are also required as well. Second water level of the game, Clam City, affectionately called Clam Chowder. Another another good level with On Guard. Some good movement here. For the most part, when you're going horizontally with On Guard, you want to be lunging. His lunge speed is much faster than his regular swim speed. He's also very useful in clipping through enemies. I don't think Dad goes for clam clip. Nope, he goes under the clam. You can clip through that clam on the top of the screen just to save a little bit of time. Now going into the B fight, there's a quick hit right here. Gets it, nice. And then it's a stereotypical, not your 1, 2, 3, 4, but actually 4, 5, 6, 7, counting how many times the B touches the ground and lunges at you. So 4, 5, just typical hits. The barrel, I think this is the only boss that you use barrels on in this game, yeah?
Yep.
Another, I guess, technique or whatever that's been employed in later Donkey games. 11:42 is a pretty good World 3 exit time, so Dad's on a pretty good run right now. Let's see if MagicK goes for Clam Clip, not sure. Oh, he just goes above. Yep, so he gets through. Let's see, Joe roll in the snow, opts out of it. I guess Dad isn't comfortable with it or just doesn't know it. MagicK also getting the quick hit on the B. And we're gonna have barrel boost right here from Dad. If you're holding a barrel, oh, he lost it. That's unfortunate. If you're holding a barrel, when you jump off of a slope, it lunges, it like thrusts you forward faster than rolling speed. Actually, I believe it's the fastest momentum you can incur in the game. So you use that to just like skip a few auto barrels, make the game, make the stage a little bit faster. Unfortunately, he lost his barrel before he needed it, so he got one of the barrel boosts, but not the second one. MagicK fighting the B with Donkey, in my opinion, the much safer way, easier way to fight that boss. So unfortunately, it looks like he took damage there. Didn't see that. Slip side ride now for DLB. Right here is going to jump on a guy to reach that rope. It's really tricky because sometimes if you jump too soon, you can despawn the guy, and that's a big time loss. Going to go out of bounds. Nice. Above the stage. Roll into that barrel. Typically, you can only access that barrel with Donkey because Diddy and Donkey have the same jump height, but Donkey's hitbox extends higher. So basically, like his knuckles brush up against the hitbox of that barrel, and that's how you get in. The game didn't intend for you to clip out of bounds with Diddy in order to do that. MagicK missing the barrel boost as well, unfortunately. So this is typically the first instance of our bird friend Espresso. Most top-level runners don't take Espresso in Temple Tempest, but again, it is highly recommended for newer players. It makes the stage much easier. This is Ice Age Alley. It's really satisfying stage to play. I don't think once you get the... I don't think you have to let go of right after you get the bird, actually. Pretty confident, but the bird is very fast. Also goes faster as you're running down slopes, so you want to do that when you can. And similarly, but conversely, you are a little bit slower running up slopes, so you want to jump up slopes. MagicK going for the out of bounds, misses it, so he's going to just take the Donkey trick. There you go, he's in the warp. Now we are into Croctopus Chase, affectionately called the pool, taking a dip in the pool. It's about 2.5 minutes to 2:20, depending on your level of play and how closely you cut your corners, how well you mash, stuff like that. But it is a fan favorite track, aquatic ambiance, so just sit back and enjoy. Not a whole lot going on in this level. Just like I said, cutting some corners, So enjoy aquatic ambiance.
Yeah, MagicK should end up catching him at the beginning of the level anyway. They'll be in the same level for a little bit.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Bird Croc, though. There's an interesting glitch called Split Up Glitch, and it actually lets you take animal buddies out of one level and into another level as long as there are animal buddies in that level. This level actually has On Guard in it, but he's so far out of the way and at the end of the stage that it's not worth it to go and grab him. However, that means that you can then use Split Up Glitch to bring animal buddies into this stage. And technically, the fastest way to do this stage is with Espresso. However, it's not really humanly viable. There's a lot of out-of-bounds clipping and some funky movements. And if you lose the bird, it's very, very, very difficult to recover from and can actually lead you to soft lock. So not really recommended to go for, but it is possible. If somebody out there wants to investigate it, make it humanly viable, by all means, you are highly encouraged to do so. Wow, alright, 9 pianos from Dad, that's not bad. So at the end there, you hear sort of that piano refrain. There's 6 notes, and then a little break, and then 6 more notes. And he exited the stage in the middle of that second set of 6 notes, which is pretty fast. Probably only maybe 2 seconds or so behind, 2 or 3 seconds behind the top IL times for exiting that stage. Torchlight trouble here. The gimmick is the stage is dark, so there is actually squawks in the beginning of this stage. He's still a baby parrot, so instead of holding you, he holds a lantern. But he makes the game lag really, really badly, so we opt not to get squawks. Rope Bridge Rumble. There's an SJR here. Dad does not go for it. Smart man. Use that army that he just passed up right there to jump off of it. There are also a lot of really good tie rolls in this stage. Very, very fun stage to play as long as you're good at them. It's tricky to learn at first, but once you do, it is a very satisfying stage to play. Little extendo right there as well. Cycle skip right here, and one more. Very nice, Dad. And then one more tie roll coming up here at the end. Very nice. And you can do a back boost off that army. Very tricky. Doesn't go for it. That's fine. Totally understandable. Into the second beaver fight now. So it's just like the last beaver, except he jumps really high. And you can actually, yep, there you go. He gets it. You can jump off of him at his peak to land in the upper left-hand corner. For some reason, there's collision up there. And then hit him after the peak of his jump to hit him in like that first frame that he's vulnerable. Also sacrificing Donkey at the end of the third phase in order to skip the fourth phase. So saving a little bit of time there. MagicK taking a hit with Diddy there at the end of Torchlight. That's unfortunate, but luckily there's a barrel very, very early on in Rope Bridge. So Dad doesn't go for the ODA SJR, so instead he sacrifices Donkey on that naughty fight. Another good platforming stage, very, very difficult, lots of tight rolls, lots of rolling off of flaming oil drums, which is pretty tough. Donkey's hitbox is too big, but Diddy is small enough so that you can land on the edge of the oil drums and roll off of them without taking damage. Also, if the flame is still like going up or the flame is going down, as long as it's not like fully illuminated or whatever, as long as the flame isn't like fully out, you can go through them without taking damage. Nice extendo there through the Mankey at the end, and clean stage for Dad. He's on a good run right now. Like, he is, I think, actually on PB pace, judging by his timer colors. Trick, Track, Trek. The stage gets not a whole lot of love in this category because we take a warp at the very beginning and then we're out. It looks like he's about a second behind PB right now, based on his split timer. Elevator Antics. Another tricky stage. There's some cool cycle skips you can do. There's a couple of cool extendos you can do. Nice roll right here over the gap. There's an annoying trick called Snake Bounce. It's, I think, like 6 frames or something like that. Saves just about nothing. Not really worth going for. But we go up the top here into a bonus to skip the vast majority of this stage. MagicK out of World 4, no problem. Into ODA now with Donkey only. He'll be getting Diddy Bag real soon, though. There's a barrel there early on. So start those platforms there, skip a cycle a little bit earlier, and then extendo through these guys. Got a kind of a lame roll there, unfortunately, but he salvaged it. Setting up for elevator skip now, where, believe it or not, you skip an elevator cycle. Gets it, no problem. Now by the necky, and he's out. He is now ahead of his PB, I believe.
MagicK getting this frame over here on Oil Drum Alley.
Oh yeah, super jumping over Oil Drum Alley. Very smart choice, safe choice for new runners. I did it until I think I got a 40 in this game. I super jumped over a lot of stages. Dad in Poison Pound now, losing his fish. That is really not so great. At this point, he's losing a lot of time backtracking to try to get his fish, but it's still probably a time save just going back and getting him because On Guard is so much faster in the water than the Kongs are. Up until then, I do believe he was on PB pace. Still very well ahead in this race, but he might be a little shook up now after losing his fish for a while and probably 15 or so seconds. Alright, good example of a clip right there. You can see with On Guard's lunge ability, he gets sort of this nice clip. He gets like a little bit of immunity to things that otherwise wouldn't be able to be killed by On Guard. Like the fish and stuff, you don't clip through them, you just hit them away. But like the croctopuses and the mincers, you just sort of move through them. Just like the rock crocs in Stop and Go. Just there's no collision for whatever reason because the game decides that you're invulnerable at that point in time. Interesting trick in MCM. Looks like Dad is not going for rolling through air. He normally doesn't, but we'll probably see that from MagicK. I'll explain that when he does it. For now, though, he's just riding his mine carts. A little bit of an auto-scroller level. MagicK having an easy time through elevators so far. Alright, setting up those platforms and on his way. Yep, let's see if he goes for elevator skip. I think he might. Looks like he's not setting for elevator skip. Okay. So this just means he has to wait a little bit longer for this last elevator right here. Alright, Dad doing some good tire rolls. Close B jumps there, actually. MagicK into Poison Pond, getting his fish, and Dad is safely out of MCM, heading into one of the hardest stages in the game, if not the hardest. It claims a lot of runs. Blackout Basement. The lights flicker on and off every 62 frames. Other than that, this level would be a breeze. For the most part, it's some pretty simple platforming, just based upon your muscle memory and the subtle like cues that you'll get from objects that glow in the dark, like bananas and DK barrels, or what you can see while the lights are on. So there's an extender there, doesn't go for it, gets that one. That's another tricky one right there over that gap, and then the end is very, very satisfying to do. Lots of gap rolls. Come up on some claptraps in the dark there, which can be kind of spooky. All in all, though, pretty well executed stage. And one more extendo here to get over this last claptrap. Bounces on him. Looks like he might have messed up the extendo there, but he didn't take damage though, so that's good. So MagicK into minecart madness now. Let's see if he sets up for it. He does. So you walk into the cart, run into the cart. You cannot roll, you cannot jump. Into the cart as Donkey, take damage on that bird, and the game thinks you are on land but in the air at the same time. So you can jump and roll infinitely. You just use this to skip the minecart section because it's a little bit faster. I believe it saves something like 4 seconds over riding the minecarts. But there is also a jump roll that you can do on a couple of the birds in the beginning that would save 6 seconds over this strategy. Going back for halfway, smart man. We've seen this stage claim lots of races so far this tournament even. Dad finishes up Dumb Drone no problem. Really simple boss, just throws out enemies at you and he actually ends up killing himself. You don't have to do anything to him. Into Tanked Up Trouble now. Big auto-scroller level. There are a couple of frame-perfect tricks in this one. Creme Tut and then Bird Tut. Differentiated by the enemies that you do them off of. So the first one, Creme Tut, you do it off of a green Kremling. Saves, I believe, 55 seconds. The second one, Bird Tut, you do off a Vulture, just like that one. Later, though. That's not the one. And it saves, I believe, 42 seconds. So these are huge tricks to hit. They are the most valuable frame-perfect tricks in the game just because this level is a really long auto-scroller. So anything you can do to make it shorter obviously makes it great. So that right there, that Kremling is the one you do Creme Tut off of, setting up now for Bird Tut. Get that tin can, and a little bit early on the frame press there. You see he rolled through, that means he hit Y before he needed to. You need to hit Y as you land on the bird. So the bird technically goes below the Trick Track Trek that he's riding on. And so you actually end up falling onto the bird. So if you fall onto an enemy as you press the Y button, the game thinks that you initiate a roll as you bounce off an enemy, so it sends you into this perpetual rolling state. So you end up rolling forward at rolling speed, which is faster than running speed, which is the only thing faster than it is rolling through multiple enemies. So it's pretty quick, and you are immune to collision with most enemies, the exception being bees. So you just have to worry about running into bees. Another interesting thing about it, though, you lose subpixels as you are in that jump roll state. So here, you would actually end up running into these bees at the end, but you do a little wiggle back and forth while you wait for... pardon me. You do a little wiggle back and forth while you wait for some naughties to walk off a catwalk. That's sort of just a good like timing cue to know that you have fallen far enough and your height is good to make it under those bees at the end. MagicK with a 2820 exit from World 5. Dad's setting up for the super jump here. He's going to super jump over mincers. You saw Diddy jump over the top of the stage. Swaps now hold B, bounces off the crate. So anything that you bounce off of doesn't have to be an enemy. Anything that you bounce off of, whether it's a patch in the dirt or an animal crate, you can get a super jump off of. So he is sky high above this stage right now. I think the let go point he just passed. So he is actually falling now, I believe, if I remember the cue correctly. So this whole time he was going up, now he's falling. He's going to be falling for a while. There is actually an SJR in this stage as well, but it's a very tight setup, so nobody really goes for it RTA. The typical strat is to take Rambi, the rhinoceros. He is only used in this stage, in this speedrun. He sees some other use in 101%, but Mincers is the only stage that we typically use him in for the any percent all stages run. Now into Misty Mines, opts out of the SJR. I don't think he's learned Misty Mines SJR, but this is a good platforming stage. With the exception of the few times you have to ride ropes, it's really satisfying to play. There's a bunch of cool rolls, some good extendos, and interesting like back boost and stuff like that. So looks like MagicK missed Bird Tut as well, so he's riding out. I don't know if he went for it, actually. Looks like he's riding out the second half of the trek. As you can see, it's a very, very long stage. Dad having a good Misty right now, though. And back boost right there, nice. Spooky jump over that gap. And gets the wiggle through those 3 snakes, and he's out. Now onto Loopy Lights, the third dark stage gimmick after Torchlight and Blackout Basement. So this one, the lights just turn out, and you turn them back on with these barrels. Luckily, though, it's really not all that dark, so you can still see what you're doing pretty well, even while the lights are off. Another very good platforming stage, bunch of good tire rolls. Another trick called Swedish Roll. Oh, I think he had it, but he jumped out of it. Looks like MagicK's setting up for the super jump over Mincers as well on your right-hand side. And Dad having a good loopy. Let's see. I think he goes for those higher rolls at the end here. I'm not sure. Yep, right there and there. Nice. B section. Ooh, takes damage. He jumped out of his roll a little bit too early. So kind of spooky being Donkey here, just because Donkey handles a lot rougher than Diddy does. A lot more vulnerable, you feel, as Donkey, despite being like the bigger, sort of like more muscular Kong or whatever. He's just as fragile. It only takes 1 hit to hit him, and he has a bigger hitbox as well. So coming now into Platform Perils, the last stage of the game. Also, the last chance for a frame perfect trick. Dad has been practicing this one a lot. Don't know his consistency with it though. So, oh, looks like he's not going to be able to go for it though. He lost Diddy, and there are no more DK barrels before the frame attempt, so he's just going to have to rough it out with Donkey. Off these armies right there up top, you set them up so that you get a jump roll off them, and you just fly to the end of the stage. Saves like between 8 and 12 depending on who you ask and depending on your strats, what you use to get through this stage. There are a bunch of cool cycle skips you can do and some cool rolls through enemies. Double extendo here. I think he does it. Oh no, he opts out of it, but he still skips platform there. MagicK super jumping over Misty. Very safe, very recommended as well for newer players. I used to do this myself. Dad making his way through Platform Perils. Really pretty good, actually, yeah? Okay. So, you get all these barrels, you hit these crushes. Most enemies you can either jump on or roll through. It varies based upon the enemy, whether Donkey can hit them or Diddy can hit them or whatever. But those gray crushes actually can only be killed with barrels. You can't jump on them or roll through them. Looks like MagicK is also setting up for a Loopy Lights jump roll that he's going to hit right here. Nice, okay. Got it. DLB into the second to last boss of the game, Neki 2. Pretty textbook fight, 33-38 roughly, so that's going to be 3602. Yeah, if I can do math right, it should be 3602. So that's a pretty good run. A very low 36, nearly 35 with no frames is a very good run, in spite of the death that he took. So you should be pretty happy with that. K-Rool is pretty much just a glorified cutscene. It's all scripted. He runs back and forth a set number of times. You jump on his head. The most that you can do to optimize this fight is what we call crownless hits. He will take his crown off his head and throw it in front of him. And you just want to hit him as close to him initially becoming vulnerable as possible. So like that was a pretty good hit right there. You didn't see very much of the crown. However, if he's still like in his animation of moving his arm, putting it in front of his head, you may not be able to see the crown, but he can still hurt you. He's still not vulnerable yet until he's actually thrown his crown. Alright, MagicK has Diddy, but I don't think he's going to go for Platform Perils jump roll. I don't I would have to guess that he doesn't know it. Yeah, this is not set up for it. But being safe, though. Oh, he does the backup. And he gets it! Unbelievable! Good for you, MagicK. Good for you. Wow, man. Very impressed. So Dad wins the race. MagicK wins the frame game. This is that jump roll that I've been talking about. You just go flying as a peanut through space. The only thing you're vulnerable to right now is bees, and luckily in this stage, there are none in your way. So you just fly straight to the end of the stage, super fast. Good for you, MagicK. And Dad threw the fake credits of K. Rool. Coming up on the end of his run here. One last hit. See if he does the K. Rool impersonation jumps. Sure does. $32.03. Nice run, Dad. MagicK just finishing up Neki 2 now. 36.11 banana drop, so that's going to be about a 36, something like that. We're going to see if Dad wants to come in for an interview here. This is always the most satisfying part of any DKC game, and most old SNES games for me as a kid was the character parade. Alright, looks like Dad's coming up here. Hello and welcome, Dad.
GG, sir.
GG, dude. Nice run. Oh, okay, I guess he's having trouble with his audio. Last time he was having some issues with not being able to hear audio, so I wonder if that's happening again. Yo, what's up, Dad?
What's up?
How was your run? How do you feel about that?
Actually, I think that was pretty solid. I was 1.5 seconds ahead of my PB coming out of Antics.
I saw that. I saw your splits were still green coming out of Antics, so I was hoping for you, dude.
Yeah, but unfortunately I got hit by that mincer in Poison Pond, and I lost about 20 seconds out of that.
Yeah, that was rough for sure. Anytime you lose the fish.
Yeah, and then when I came out of Poison Pond, I think I was like 11 seconds behind maybe. And then everything else was good. And then I'm somewhere else. I can't remember. Oh, yeah. I got hit in Loopy. And that lost me about 9 seconds. And then
yeah.
at the very beginning of perils, and I wasn't able to do the jump roll then, so I lost a lot of more time there. But I was only what 27 seconds behind my PB, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, really, really good run for a race setting. No reset. Like, cannot underline that. Like, that was a really good run you had, dude.
I was very, very happy with that run, especially in a race setting, like you said. But starting to get a little nervous though when I was ahead out of Antics. I will admit I was a little nervous. And I think that might have been the reason why I got hit in Poison Pond. But still, I'm very happy with how the race turned out in my time in the race, with everything considering.
Yeah, nerves got to you a little bit there.
I would say so.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it's tough. Like, until you've like been around for like 3 years and like had endless runs at like that pace, like you're just gonna end up like getting a little bit too nervous here and there, and it's just part of this game, honestly. Like, even the top players still get nervous sometimes. All in all, though, very good run.
Very happy with how I ran, how my run went.
Yeah, big proud. Big proud.
Thanks, man. A GG to MagicK. I'm not sure what his PB is, but it looks like he did pretty well as well.
Looking at his stream now, it looks like he was only plus 15 seconds. So he was pretty close to PBing.
For him.
Yeah, he was almost a minute behind coming out of Poison Pond, and then he caught up a lot. He actually got Peril's jump roll. He got the he went for like a alternate strat where like you kill off the first army with like the barrel, and then like go to the right and come back to like reset up that second army. Not like the typical strat that like you and everyone else like uses to set him up, but it was impressive. He still hit it, so good for him.
It wasn't like a backup or anything. It was the first one, but he just did it a different way, right?
Yeah, it was just an alternate setup. Yeah, so good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I wish he would have PB'd.
Yeah. Looks like MagicK is not going to be able to come in for an interview. He has to get going. But wish good luck to both the runners and the rest of the tournament that lies ahead. I believe there's another race coming up at 9? Yeah, 9 p.m. on Speed Gaming 2, the same channel, MagicK again, versus Gil. So set your clocks, set your alarms, and be back here for that. Until then, I'm out. Thanks for helping me commentate, August, and thanks for the nice run, Dad. I'll see you guys around.
Thanks, Lumo. Thanks, guys.
Thanks to Speed Gaming for hosting us, and catch everyone another night.
Shout outs to Feasel.